So, my girlfriend got us eggnog. From a legal perspective, how much of the eggnog am I allowed to drink before I'm the bad guy? Eggnog's delicious. Hello, folks! Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for another Legacy video. And today we are playing a deck that might not be legal in this format in another week, at least not in its current form. We are going to be playing a black-red painter deck list featuring two different combos. We have the traditional combo of this deck list, that is Painter's Servant, with Grindstone to infinitely mill your opponent, and a secondary combo of Agatha's Soul Cauldron with Phyrexian Devourer. So the way this combo works is you use Agatha's Soul Cauldron to exile Phyrexian Devourer from your graveyard, and this usually happens by you using Goblin Engineer, although this deck list also has Gamble as well as another way to kind of assemble its various combos. And then, any creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has the abilities of Phyrexian Devourer, specifically the activated abilities. You can exile the top card of your library to put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on your creature, meaning that you can create an infinite-sized creature, or at least a creature that's big enough to kill your opponent with combat damage. And every creature for the remainder of the game threatens to be infinite-sized, as long as you can keep eating creature cards from graveyards with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Now, the reason that I say this deck might not be legal for much longer is that Vexing Bauble is currently up for discussions as something that might be bannable in Legacy, as the ability for combo decks like this one to use it as a shield against all possible counter magic, well, the commonly played, like Dazes, Force of Wills, Force of Negations, all that sort of stuff, is very, very strong. Michael Levine played this deck list to a 26th place finish at the North American Eternal Weekend, so the deck's definitely got some chops. We have a lot of basic lands here, which I like. We have Urza's Saga, good card is good, and we have some Chaos Defiler shenanigans that kind of deal with everything else that the deck otherwise couldn't deal with. Sideboard's pretty solid. One thing that I want to draw attention to here is Untimely Malfunction. This is a card from Duskmourn that slipped under my radar. I asked Michael about this one, and the reason this is in the deck is mostly for the bottom mode. One or two target creatures can't block this turn. This is a way for you to push through lethal with Phyrexian Devourer combo, and it kind of has upsides of destroying an artifact in this metagame, and the middle mode can be used sometimes to defend one of your creatures or do something else interesting. So with that being said, let's hop into a league here, folks. If you need any cards, please consider checking out my sponsor, ToAMagic.com. If you need magic cards, they've got it. If you need eggnog, I haven't checked their website. Maybe they have eggnog. If they have eggnog, promo code ThrabenU should still work on that, saving you 5% on your order, and you would get free shipping on your eggnog or Lion's Eye Diamond or Chaos Defilers or whatever it is that you end up buying from them. With that being said, let's battle. Okay, while I could gamble for another mana source, I don't know that this hand is inherently powerful enough that I actually like the idea of doing that. Let's just try to find something a little more stable. The land count of this deck is reasonable, right? Yeah, 21. That's totally reasonable. Okay, hitting a little rough variance to start off the video. Hey, there we go. This is a great 5-card hand. So we start out by playing an Urza's Saga game, and then I decide where I'm going from there. I'm probably not Pyroblasting immediately. And I think if I'm winning this game, I'm probably winning this game via beatdown. So I think I just keep the artifact that I can cast. Flooded Strand. Ooh, that's a pretty Flooded Strand. So let's go ahead and just Vexing Bauble. And this puts our opponent in an awkward situation where they have to counter the Vexing Bauble if they have multiple counter spells, or they can't expect their counter spells to do much for the remainder of the game. Fetch your Underground Sea. Oh shit, it's not Underground Sea. It's actually a blue-white X deck. So this is looking like Control with like Meticulous Archive, Flooded Strand, Basic Plains. Fuck. Not happy about that, obviously. Okay. This gives me something to work for a little bit later, I suppose. What are we doing with this? Goblin Engineer is probably like getting Phyrexian Dragon Engine. When we start trying to grind in that capacity. Prismatic Ending? Prismatic Ending, yeah. Don't have the mana up to cycle that. The counter spells are back online, unfortunately. We are going to cast Goblin Engineer and see if Goblin Engineer resolves. It does not. So Painter Servant is not particularly strong. Rough. Like, I am not working towards a combo finish right now. I think we're just cycling this. Let's try to come up with a plan. Oh, not sure that this is worth 2 life immediately to just do. But I think I will do it anyway. I will turn everything blue. This does mean that Force of Will could, say, pitch lands on my opponent's side. But I think I want my blasts to be able to answer everything, including my opponent's lands at this stage. This is the point of the game where we are really feeling being down those couple of cards. I'm going to go ahead and take my chip damage. It is possible that I could get blown out in combat by something. But I think I am in rough enough shape where I need to just take points where I can get them. I am not expecting to win this game via combo, which means that I'm winning this game via direct damage. And margins might be tight. I don't know exactly what my opponent's finishers are going to be. Never mind, I do. So my opponent is doing Stifle Knot nonsense. So we should expect Phyrexian Dreadnought to come down. Alright, now, cool thing is that we can weld that out if we can put an artifact in my opponent's graveyard. Unfortunately, that's pretty unlikely. I will take one. Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is not bad. The next turn, I take 13. I cannot tap Ancient Tomb twice. I am currently debating whether or not I am tapping Ancient Tomb once this turn, or whether I am trying to save it next turn to, like, Grindstone plus activate. I think that makes sense, which means playing Mountain here, and then casting this. So I know that it is turn 6, but this is a great example of where Legacy is at right now, where even a lot of the control decks just need to have something that can pivot the game in 1 to 2 turns, rather than do the, like, Baleful Strix attack you to death over the course of a larger number of turns. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of this. I'm going to have a couple of looks at cards that get me out of this situation in some capacity. This is not one of them. That is not one of them. So now we end up in slightly sketchier territory. I'm not dead yet. Oh, fuck. I really need this treasure token from attack. Okay. Painter Servant goes into Soul Guide Lantern. Sacrifice Soul Guide Lantern to draw a card. I needed one more card. That's frustrating. If my opponent doesn't make this play, I get to attack, treasure token, draw the Grindstone, and win. Good play. Good play. Alright, I think I like Untimely Malfunction as a way to interact with Phyrexian Dreadnought. Because once I take out one Dreadnought, I can potentially like weld Dreadnoughts into Dreadnoughts, depending on what the exact situation is, to do some interesting things. I could Ensnaring Bridge. My opponent is planning on killing me with a 12-12, but they are just going to have answers to this, like Prismatic Ending is something that we have already seen. Against a deck with counterspells, I probably need LED less. Probably don't need Soul Guide Lantern here. Fury is kind of interesting against opposing Torpor Orb effects, because like I can just play it as a free 3/3 double striker if my opponent has something like a Doorkeeper Thrall in play. That's a thing. I think I'm going to try it without the Ensnaring Bridge. I don't think I need it if I can just tutor up Chaos Defiler. Yeah! I don't know how, what, where, when, why, but this hand is probably going to do some disgusting things. Like, I can cast Soul Cauldron next turn. I could attempt to gamble for Phyrexian Devourer immediately. Might just lose this creature. Seems likely that this is a swords. Yep, that's fine. Okay. So I'm definitely using this ability. In a little while, gamble just always finds Phyrexian Devourer. But I think I'm in a fair situation rather than an unfair situation right now. I think I'm just going to get rid of both gambles. Well, alright then. I think I'm not going to spend my mana optimally this turn. Like, I can play Soul Cauldron plus Gamble. I think I just want to wait on the Gamble for a little while. I think I'm going to put Phyrexian Dragon Engine into my graveyard. I think that incentivizes my opponent to remove Goblin Engineer. And really, I kind of just want this to be chilling. Oh, that's a very good Wasteland. Oh, right. Now I think we're getting a little weird. I think we are casting a Gamble. I think we are now getting Great Furnace. I'm going to play Great Furnace. I am going to just pick up some new cards here. So we'll sacrifice the Great Furnace. We'll get the Phyrexian Dragon Engine, and we're going to play this game in a slightly different way than I was expecting. Whereas I thought I was going towards combo, now I am more likely to try to grind my opponent out. Now I have Chaos Defiler in graveyard, so I can alternate between Chaos Defiler and Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Wait, no, this is an engineer, not a welder. So I can alternate between this and Great Furnace. That's still fine. You may ponder. So a lot of times I criticize people for making their land drop prior to pondering. I don't think this is one of those times, because one of the best things that my opponent can find with the ponder is just a 1-mana white removal spell, and if their other land is basic island, it just makes sense to make that land drop first. Oh, that's so good. I'm going to go ahead and send this in while leaving Goblin Engineer up, and I will drop a Goblin Welder here. Now I am representing protection for Phyrexian Dragon Engine off of Swords to Plowshares, so I can just always keep this around. I also just do have Pyroblast available. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Now my stuff can't get exiled. I'm into the attack for points of damage, though. Gamble is neat. So, send in for 4. Opponent goes to 11. We're going to swap this and this. Then we will take out my opponent's Stony Silence. I think I just pass now. Like, I have gamble lines that are literal gambles, but I think I like having Pyroblast protecting my current board. That is colorless. Fight costing blue mana. If my opponent stifles that, they do not. Fine with just doing this now. I'll attack for 5. So much Pyroblast. Or attack for 6 even. Let's make that an attack for 6. And I just have guaranteed lethal next turn. I think now I am willing to gamble. I want an artifact of some kind here. I think it's just another land. So now I can weld this land into a Phyrexian Dragon Engine after I Pyroblast something. That's fine. Opponent was waiting to pay costs, and then didn't. Alright, we are chilling. So I can weld this land into this directly, then Swords opens up on this. There's just 2 different lethal things, and I still have Pyroblast. That seems fine. Yeah, so now we'll just stop that. We get even more value out of the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Alright, fantastic. I am unsure how I feel about the gambles in this deck. If you are trying to go fast, they probably make sense, but I'm not trying to go fast here. I think I will run back the same 60 here. I like how this looks. Okay, I have reasonable Magic the Gathering TM cards in my hand. Very kind of unsure about what this gamble is doing. Like, it's very awkward to just kind of cast that immediately. Okay, well, I found something better to cast on the first turn, so that's great. So, I hate that my opponent has Wastelands. It's just not fair that they have Wasteland, you know? I mean, they also have, like, Stifles, which are very, very good against this card. Let's start here. That's good enough for a response. Alright, Doorkeeper Thrall is in play. Weird wording thing, just in case you're not familiar with this. An as ability is not a triggered ability, so this as ability will still happen. I can still make everything blue. So now I can work towards a combo kill of my own. I have the ability to destroy an artifact if my opponent just slams a Phyrexian Dreadnought this turn, which they do. And there's more. Suppression Field. Fuck me. Okay. Opponent had this and Stony Silence. That means my Grindstone costs a gajillion D to activate. It fucks with Urza Saga as well. Alright, start here. Destroy target artifact. On Phyrexian Dreadnought. Just stop my opponent from winning the game immediately. The next one's a little weird. We cast Gamble. And we gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh no. Fuck. Well, we don't gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond. We gamble for Ancient Tomb. That accomplishes the same thing. That accomplishes the same thing. Fuck. Gamble sucks. Gamble's a trap. I don't think Suppression Field is something that I actively should have been playing around. Also, LED runs into Vexing Bubble. But that's a total of 6 mana, so that's fine. Alright. So now that just gets to stick around because of the Thrall. Hopefully I just rip a Soul Land off the top of the deck. Nope. Now I have to deal with Annihilator 1. Welp. I mean, I still think we're going this way. But again, this is going to be 3 mana plus 2, 5 mana. So, what maximizes my chance of winning? Probably Phyrexian Dragon Engine finding more mana to activate next turn. Oh no, this is only from Graveyard? Ugh. I hate it. Sack Vexing Bauble. God, that too? Fuck. Yeah, I think I need to hit a land drop. But I like also need things in play to sacrifice the Null Drifter. This sucks. Yeah, I just don't think I can beat Suppression Field. Good metagame call, I guess. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by moxfield.com. Just the best place to host your deck lists online, just full period. It is. And I can say lots of nice things about them, or I can just show you that I have 328 deck lists on this site, and I think that's about the best endorsement that I can give them. Alright, opening hand looks solid here. So we have turn 1 Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, probably, followed by turn 2 Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. And we just end up playing a fair value-oriented game. Unless I get a strong sign that I need to hold up a Pyroblast immediately. A Nadu could come down next turn. I think I am still going to play out Fable, though. Because the following turn, I can attack, get my treasure token, play another Fable, and then have Pyroblast for Nadu still. So there's land drop. Let's see if it leads directly into Nadu. It's a Nomads. Okay. We're gonna get rid of Gambles. If I play Urza Saga, I am working towards a Painter Goldfish, which is probably my fastest way to just end this game, or I can try to dig for more Pyroblasts. I think I just want to dig for more Pyroblasts. If I put Painter in play, I can counter Green Sun and not let Nadu get into play before I address it, though. Okay. And I guess I care about Delighted Halfling as well. I guess I get this going then, and work towards my own Goldfish. So we're going to make everything blue. Now, if things get a little weird, I can just Pyroblast Nomads to destroy Nomads if an uncounterable Nadu goes onto the stack. Okay, so there is a Green Sun, which is currently a blue spell. So let's nuke that. So let's go ahead and attack for 3 points of damage. Send it. Alright, opponent does take a block. Activates the ability targeting Delighted Halfling. So, now we're going to see if we can win right now. I'm going to cast a Gamble, selecting Grindstone as my target. I keep a Mountain and a Grindstone. We'll use the Mountain to cast a Grindstone, and this will mill my opponent out. Yeah. And they have allowed me to look at their entire deck, which is probably not a thing you should do. So, anything interesting here? Not really. Some swords, some prismatic endings, some Teferi. Is there Shuko? So no Shuko or Stoneforge. It is creature based. No instant win like Thassa's Oracle. This is draw a bunch of cards and outvalue you. There is Bristly Bill. Okay. So we know that Needling Nomad in core is very good. Blood Moon is an angle to take this. I don't know how into that I am. I think I am into Fury to slow down my opponent. Full Guide Lantern's not really necessary here. I don't know what the Lost Cut is. The Gamble was definitely good that game. The LED could go. I think the LED could go. I think a gamble could go. I think one graveyard welder or engineer could go. I don't know. I really don't know on this last card. Oh, one. You. So the problem with this hand is I don't actually have an artifact to put in play. A weld out. I'm going to keep this under the assumption that I can find something to weld out. Like, be that an artifact land, a bauble, whatever. Yeah, this is fine. So we'll just cast this Pithing Needle. My opponent will fetch in response. I'll then shut off Nomads in Core. Oh? Sure. Do I go Turbo here? I think I go Turbo here and just put this into play. Like, I can play Phyrexian Dragon Engine next turn, followed by Goblin Engineer. Alright, nope. And a Halfling, sure. So, what would I want with 3 or less here? I can't just get Chaos Defiler and bring it back with the card that I currently have. By just playing the Beatdown card? I think I'm just playing the Beatdown card, unfortunately. That Goblin Welder was quite important. And losing the Welder and my interaction for Nadu combo both at the same time is a little rough. Alright, opponent is chilling. Well, now I don't have multiple red mana in the same turn cycle, so that's slightly awkward, but hopefully this is fine. Then that. That'll put opponent at 15. I will make a land drop. Then we'll engineer. I think I put Chaos Defiler in graveyard for the purposes of Welder. That's fine. I can also just like play Goblin Welder out this turn, and then play Engineer next turn to get Chaos Defiler active sooner. I think that's what I was supposed to do. Ooh, sure. This has worked out well for me then. Like, now I actually get to keep the thing that can get Chaos Defiler back. Oh, opponent's going on the offensive here. And then some chip damage back and forth at each other. I'm like definitely scared though. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. Now that's not hitting Goblin Welder. Now I get Urza's Saga active. And Urza's Saga means that I have an artifact no matter what next turn to be able to get Chaos Defiler back. It is possible that my opponent still has more Prismatic Ending type cards, right? Like, they're not playing out combo pieces here. So it is possible that they are either holding combo pieces until they can put both in play at the same time. Rough. Alright. Or they still have more removal, is the other side of that. Halfling beats 16. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Oh. Whoa. So my opponent is getting rid of the ability that allows Urza Saga to make construct tokens. So at this point, this just taps 4 mana. So let's get this in play. I don't think I need to make this land drop. So I can turn every creature that I get for the rest of the game into Goblin Welder. It's like my opponent found Nadu. Yep. On the off chance that something from my opponent's graveyard is relevant for some reason, like an endurance loop or something, I will eat some things from their graveyard. I don't really care about eating my creatures until I have a creature of my own, which I now do. Unfortunately, I can't tutor up Pithing Needle here. Boots? Boots are pretty good here. So let's take 2, play Fable. Fable makes a friend. Fucking stop it with those. Sick of this shit. Alright. So now I don't get to Soul Cauldron anything cool here. I still can loot away this land next turn. So, doesn't look like my opponent top decked a combo card, so that's good for me. I'm at 10. We'll continue to just take stuff out of my opponent's graveyard. How about a Purge? Okay, that is a reasonable card. Let's say yes and loot through City of Traders, though. Alright. If it's a 4 fucking consigned to memory, we riot. Trigger. Alright, cool. I think I will upkeep Pyroblast Nadu. Not let my opponent draw another card. Alright. This will give 1 Nadu trigger. Finding Green Sun, which replaces the Nadu. Alright. We didn't really gain too much ground there. Oh, fuck, is there going to be Collector Oof? If there's about to be Collector Oof, I probably need to put Goblin Welder under here right now, so that I have that ability for the future. Yeah. Alright. So I can still hopefully just do absolutely broken, disgusting things next turn. I just weld something into Chaos Defiler. Stop. Please. I would like to just do disgusting things. Brainstorm. Yep. Like, I can still try to go to town with Urza's Saga, but Reflection of Kiki-Jiki was really going to accelerate my kill to a disgusting degree. So this costs me 2 life immediately. It'll probably cost me 2 more here, unless I want to Spirit Guide that to save 2 life. Honestly, sure. So yeah. So these are 4/4s, about to be 5/5s. I will, I guess, just get Vexing Bobble. Not being able to use my Lava Spur boots for the haste hurts here. Opponent not going for a chump block. I'm not saying it's wrong. There's just not even any thought to it. I don't know that the 5th mana matters. I don't know, sometimes the chump block saves more the following turn. Alright, there's Nomads. This was a shuffle off the Ponder, so the top card is completely random. And, you know, I'm going for the beatdown. Alright, so we have blocks with 2 creatures here. My opponent is just going to move the damage that would happen to Nomads in core over to the Delighted Halfling. I only succeed in killing 1 creature here, and I think I'm fine holding this land. Alright, cool. Opponent does not top deck Nadu, and they're going to go ahead and give us a little attack back. Down to 9. Gamble is a literal gamble here, just 50-50 shot at a relevant card. I think that's fine. I probably just take, like, Urza's Saga here. I don't have the ability to realistically hardcast a Fury. And there's a Vexing Bobble in play. Alright, we miss. I think we go ahead and do the same thing as last time. It makes it so that my opponent does have to lose the Delighted Halfling. If I only attack with 1, they could take 5 and keep the extra body around, which could matter for Nadu. We're going to see the same activations. And then we do successfully kill the Delighted Halfling. My opponent can get a Surveil land and get 1 extra look at Nadu, or cantrip for Nadu, or whatever. My opponent junks a Nomads in core. That's a Brainstorm. There is still Nadu mana left over, unfortunately. That's not Nadu mana. Ah, my opponent just tapped wrong. Okay, cool. This probably means that we just lose the game, because my opponent is going to get to draw 12 cards. I think I'm going to go ahead and concede here. Like, my opponent has hit a Dryad Arbor, meaning it's 8 cards, 16 cards. They have protection for this so that I can't interact with it. I can't, you know, realistically win here. Yep, GG. Oh wait, we're not done. We have to do this again, unfortunately. So when I'm on the play, I could consider trying to cheese the game with Blood Moon. My opponent does have some mana dorks. I feel like my opponent is a faster deck than mine, and also a more interactive deck than mine. My Urza Sagas do really matter. Maybe I need the LED. I am just very unsure about the sideboarding. Like, I know it's a minimal change, but it is an impactful one to get rid of a singleton card like that. So this is turn 1 Vexing Bobble, turn 2 Phyrexian Dragon Engine. That doesn't really seem like it's leading to a win. Like, I can be hitting for 6 double strike. I think I can do better. This is fine. I'm not sure which card to get rid of. I think I'm going to get rid of the second Welder and keep access to Painter. But my opponent has a lot of removal over there, so not 100% sure. It's quite good once the Welder is active, but I'm a little ways away from it being active. Assuming that I want to play Ancient Tomb this turn, which I think I do. So we'll Painter. Everything is blue. And I think I just try to set my opponent back here. And I think I just take a creature out of play. I think I need to try to keep my opponent from casting some of their more expensive cards. And Delighted Halfling makes my life very awkward moving forward. I don't care if my opponent exiles Painter since I just have another. I'm going to need to put another card into graveyard, or an artifact into graveyard at some point. So everything's blue. This time, I don't think I can do the same thing now that they've made another land drop. So Goblin Welder is not yet protection for my stuff. That's a green sun for Collector Oof. I will just say no to that. Get out. And I don't have any ability to grind right now. This is where I need like a gamble or... Well, shit, okay. Yeah. Cast Gamble. Get Chaos Defiler. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Opponent's at 18. Weld Painter into Chaos Defiler. And we'll take out Delighted Halfling. Now, if my opponent manages to exile this specifically, I don't get another trigger. I will be very happy once I untap with Goblin Welder. Like, this is a very, very important window for my opponent to find exile-based removal for Chaos Defiler, or alternatively remove Goblin Welder with something like a Prismatic Ending that can't hit Defiler. There's land drop. There's a Ponder. My opponent did not choose to shuffle with that previous Ponder. They shuffled with this one. That probably bodes well for me. Cool. Attack for 5. 13. Cast Gamble. Probably a Phyrexian Dragon Engine situation. I think I just passed the turn, though. We just kind of threaten to turn Chaos Defiler into a removal spell plus a draw 3 at any given moment. And if my opponent dedicates mana into putting combo cards on board, I just remove those. Yeah, like Nadu is fine here. This doesn't even target. Just choose a non-land permanent. Okay. Now we are going to attempt to do this. We'll see if the last card, one of the last 2 cards, is a swords now. All right, nice. So now we make our opponent sacrifice their Nadu, and we just win that one. GG's. Turn 1, Painter. Turn 2, Goblin Engineer finding Grindstone. Turn 3, win. I don't really feel good about this hand, but if Legacy right now is like, we're fucking racing boys, then I guess it's fine. But like, at the end of the day, this has 5 mana sources. Sure. We did not want to see interaction here. And we're probably playing against either Reanimator or a Dimir Tempo deck. We'll probably find out within a turn or 2. So more likely Tempo, but could still swing either direction. Tapping my Ancient Tomb a bunch of times is rough here. Well, I think I try to resolve Soul Cauldron first. Nah. Engineer. I think we are putting the Phyrexian Devourer into graveyard. We want to nuke that next turn with Agatha's Soul Cauldron and do the thing. If we're playing against Reanimator and, like, I did not play Soul Cauldron and then my opponent has exactly Entomb Reanimate, like, sucks to be me. But I think I am going to bet on that not happening. You get a clue. I obviously don't block. Brainstorm will transform Tamiyo. I would love it if my opponent does something that taps out here. Not exactly what I meant, but okay. Ancient Tomb, not what I am looking for, unfortunately. But I can play Agatha's Soul Cauldron now. And I'll leave it up in case my opponent is doing reanimation stuff. I do need to hit a creature pretty quickly, or Tamiyo just ultimates and I can't realistically win. Ah, fool. He got shit. At end of turn, I'll just pick something out of their graveyard so that they can't return it with Tamiyo later. Painter's fine. Oh, I will play Painter. Everything is blue. I guess I hold this up through my opponent's turn. That way Tamiyo can't return a relevant card. Yep. That gets in the way of Painter's Servant lethaling my opponent next turn. So I would like to draw something like a Pyroblast to finish the job. This is probably the point where we assume our opponent does not have reanimation stuff and is playing a Dimir Tempo deck. The Baleful Strix shows a commitment to slowing down a little more than normal. Get a counter here. So now if we take a look at Painter Servant, it does have the Phyrexian Devourer ability. So unfortunately, like, we've just flooded out here. Goblin Engineer activated ability doesn't really do too much here. But I guess we're going to try to go wide now. Let's get the Engineer ability. Put another counter here. Probably should have done these in the reverse order in retrospect. That way I can have 2 creatures with +1/+1 counters on them immediately. Apologies if you hear some noises from outside. It is incredibly windy right now. Murktide Regent, sure. Yeah, so this is rough now. So do this. Pay red. Sacrifice Painter to more other Painter. Everything's blue. But I imagine that my opponent's remaining 24 cards interact with the stuff that I'm doing. And I think we are in garbage time. Yeah. This is where I need like an Urza Saga, a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Oh, I literally die to that next turn. Never mind. Opponent has paused in my draw step for some reason. Power Blast. Attempt to kill a Psychic Frog that's going to kill me. Yeah, that's fine. There's no point in waiting because my opponent has enough cards that they don't even need to go all in if they have Force of Will. It still just already beats me. Okay, looking at lands here, Blood Moon is a real strategy that it looks like I could do versus this deck. Like, they do have blue pips that they care about. They do have Fatal Push Revolt that they care about. I'm not sure that I care about Soul Guide Lantern, despite the fact that my opponent does have Murktide Regent. I could Pithing Needle for the backside of Tamiyo. Could Untimely Malfunction for the exact situations that I saw this game. I don't think I want to Leyline Helm. I think I like Ensnaring Bridge for the most part. Not perfect. I think I want to have access to that and Fury. Not sure what the other card that comes out is. Probably LED. Let's run it like this. I don't know that I'm gonna try to Blood Moon cheese a win. I think we just kind of flooded out in that one in a somewhat unfortunate way. I like the cards that are in this hand, but with 1 mana, I don't think this is super realistic. But, like, Vexing Bobble, backup Vexing Bobble, Goblin Welder, Power Blast for a Frog or Tamiyo. Maybe I get greedy on this one. Maybe this plays surprisingly well off of 1 land. I would be happy enough with this on 6 cards. I get a bonus Ensnaring Bridge. Would really prefer to not Pyroblast at turn 1 Tamiyo. I'll do it if it happens, but I really want to Pyroblast a Frog instead. Never didn't have it. Saga. I think I am into Vexing Bobble and Welder rather than Engineer. I would like to get Welder going. I can like sack a Bobble, weld Bobble into Bobble. Yeah, I'm fine trading 1 for 1 there. That's totally good with me. I would love to draw another land to keep Urza's Saga going. Come on. Negative. So Saga ticks up. I will play a Goblin Engineer. It is hard castable, dazable. I was just brainstorming instead, though. Alright, Engineer is happening. So, Phyrexian Dragon Engine and Ensnaring Bridge are the things that I normally would be tutoring here. The question is, like, what do I want in play beyond this? It may just be that I want to have Great Furnace so that I can have mana in the graveyard that I can get stuff going with, or I could tutor for one of Phyrexian Devourer or Chaos Defiler to set myself up for later. I think I want the mana. Wasteland's rough. I think it's very clear what I am valuing right now. I don't think I like the Wasteland prior to the Ponder. That's off opportunities to cast things like Psychic Rogue. Boots. Boots are kind of whatever. Let's turn 1 Vexing Bobble into Great Furnace. And I am going to play the Boots. I'm honestly playing them mostly to take cards out of my hand, because my long-term plan for this game is lock my opponent under Ensnaring Bridge once they play something large like a Murktide Regent. And then I have all sorts of time to dirtle with Phyrexian Dragon Engine or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Soul Cauldron's cool. Again, I wish I had a little more mana, but attempt to take out a Psychic Frog here. We'll do some little hits. The ward stacking for later to double the cost of Fatal Push is the most important part of this action, not the 2 points of damage that this is dealing. 17. Now, from here, I can Agatha's Soul Cauldron a Psychic Frog and give my creature the abilities of Psychic Frog, which puts Phyrexian Dragon Engine into graveyard, which starts being quite interesting. Alright, so past Agatha's Soul Cauldron, consigned to memory. So it's in graveyard. I can get it out of graveyard later. Attack into Baleful Strix does not make sense here. So we're in the grind now. Alright, so the ward happens. I don't have mana up to use this ability right now. Can't dump my hand for Ensnaring Bridge yet. I'll take some chip damage for a little while until my opponent finds something bigger. A soul land like Ancient Tomb could be pretty big here. I mean, I'll take a regular land drop. Not my ideal, but it's fine. Yeah, like Soul Land at this point is so good, though. Like, play Phyrexian Dragon Engine, give it Lava Spur Boots, make it harder to remove. Back in for 6. It's a 3-turn clock. And Baleful Strix. Petty theft, sure. My opponent must feel quite threatened if they are petty thefting that. Like that is a 1-mana play when I clearly have more expensive things in my hand. Like it's very likely that I just end up redeploying Grindstone. So at some point I do need to think about cycling Vexing Bauble to get the 3rd land. I don't think I'm going to do it now. I think hitting that land drop and resolving some of these cards matters too much. Or, and hear me out, I think I'm just gambling for Ancient Tomb, honestly, and hoping to not discard Ancient Tomb or Ensnaring Bridge. We have discarded the Ancient Tomb. Gamble sucks. So, now life's pretty bad. Presumably my opponent can find interaction between, like, Brainstorm, the remaining 3 cards my opponent has, Psychic Frog Draw, to interact with Ensnaring Bridge. Like, this is where the Consigned to Memory type cards matter a lot. Hardcast Daze is also relevant. Alright, 16. Well, I mean, we'll do the same thing as we did last turn. Odds on it are now worse. Because last turn I was 50% to discard one of the cards that I did not want. Now I'm, I essentially want to discard this one. I think I'm still going to make it Tomb. I think the disappearing matters. Okay, cool. We high rolled this time. 4 cards. Let's see if my opponent has an out to this. Petty Theft, Vexing Bauble. Now are we going to Force of Will? Yep. Alright. So I can die pretty quickly here. My opponent just plays Brazen Borrowers. They can also just keep ripping Wastelands. Wasteland 3, right? Yeah, that's Wasteland 3. This is 5. 5 to unearth. I'm going to cast this. Honestly, I probably need to cycle it. I don't think I get to just chill and wait here and hope to, like, hit Painter's Servant and make it ignore Force of Will and Daze. That's fine. Like, if I try to sit back, Brazen Borrower and or dumping cards into Psychic Frog probably kills me in 2 turns. Yeah. But I'm currently taking 4 this turn, going to 8. My opponent can play a Brazen Borrower at end of turn, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, +1, discard 8. Yeah, I just die next turn. Painter's Servant is not a live draw here. Table of the Mirror Breaker does not really do it. Everything flies over there, including Psychic Frog. Dead. GG's. Alright. This hand Goldfish is on turn 3. And we'll see if it's good enough. I can play a longer game if I need to, but I'm hoping to just play a short game. Alright, well. I mean, Painter. Everything is blue. My opponent tries to blast. I can blast back. Well, I mean, I blast that. Oh, fuck, I can't. If I blast it, my opponent welds it back into play. That's still worth doing? That's not worth responding to right now, then. So instead, I set up other things. And I start getting Chaos Defiler going. I mean, I guess I'm attacking for 1. Opponent's at 19. Opponent has their own Urza Saga. And while I'm tempted to Pyroblast that, I don't think that is what this game is about. That's fine. So now, I Pyroblast Disruptor Flute. It's in Graveyard. Activate Grindstone. Target my opponent. Hold priority Weld. That seems fine. Yeah, alright. Opponent sees the line. The opponent has main deck Disruptor Flutes. That means that my untimely malfunctions out of sideboard are pretty good. This also may be a time where I bring in the Leyline Helm combo, because my opponent's own graveyard-based redundancy matters. I could also just, like, fully not be a Painter Servant combo deck anymore. Just, like, board in Leyline Helm, Fury, Blood Moon, Untimely Malfunction, Pithing Needle. Unsure if getting lost in the sauce or am genius. Always, always, always. Like, I could assume that the game slows down long enough that the gambles aren't necessary. They still might be good. If I want to slow down, I can do this. Still think I keep Soul Guide Lantern. I don't need Vexing Bauble. That can go. I think I'm going to do this. Rim some Painters. Like, keep Painter Grindstone as an axis that my deck can do. I don't know. I kind of want to cut all of them and just rely on my other combo. But then, like, these get a little weird if we have both boarded out Painters. Bucket Weeball. I'm no longer a Painter deck. I'm the false prophet. So this could play a gamble, try to put Phyrexian Devourer into graveyard. I think this is an awkward hand, though. I'm just going to mulligan that. I think I'm going to try to believe in this hand. I get rid of one Pyroblast. I can Pithing Needle one of the first things that my opponent plays, and I use Leyline to shut off their graveyard. And then I'm just hoping to draw a land in about 2 draws so that I can just go to town with Urza's Saga tokens. Ooh. Or, and hear me out, we Pithing Needle Urza's Saga. Kind of fucked up. Alright. So, like, we've said no to our opponent's graveyard. We've said no to our opponent's Urza Saga combo. This... Sorry. I'm having a good time over here. So now I can play Fable and loot through these Pyroblasts that are currently not doing much. My opponent can still tutor with Urza Saga, so that can turn into like a Vexing Bauble redraw, a Lava Spur Boots for later. Oh? Sure. Name a card that's not in my deck. Name a card that is not in my deck right now. Do it. Rusty. This is actually like a really good like skill tester, I think. Like, what do you name with Disruptor Flute in this situation? I really like that name. So their Goblin Welders are off right now because of Leyline, and mine are on, and I'm about to get a chance to discard to Fable. I think that's a really good name. And I think Welder. Ooh, they've got a Chrome Box. That's quite good. Welder? Yeah, so they've got their own Welder that is not particularly strong right now. I have no idea what the fuck this is. Synth Eradicator. When it attacks, exile the top card of your library. You get 2 energy. Wait, you may get 2 energy. If you don't, you may play that card this turn. A 3 energy, it deals 3 damage to any target. Why have I never seen this fucking card? That's sweet. Okay, well, I'm taking 3. I hit Goblin Engineer instead of Goblin Welder. Now we'll loot through Pyroblast. This is not a Braid. Are you an artifact still? Oh, fuck yeah, you're still an artifact. Cool. Okay. So I will go ahead and destroy that still. I will play my engineer. I think picking up Phyrexian Dragon Engine here. I think that's where we're at. And send in for 2 and a treasure. Opponent says a friend randomly mentioned that card, and I was like, this will be good in my painter deck. Okay. I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think that's pretty sweet. Like, that would have been a very scary card if they untapped with it again. Ghost Vacuum. Alright. No, that's fair. Now my Goblin Engineer doesn't really do a lot. Line of the Void, not great here. Oh, my opponent fucked up. So I have priority right now, and I have 5 mana. I can just unearth this and get a draw 3 out of it. I think I can still play Urza's Saga and get a little extra value. So let's go ahead and unearth this. And now I'll discard the Leyline. Get fresh cards. I have Red Elemental Blast, which I'm not really expecting to do much here. So send it. Get my treasure token. Ooh, we are trading Shamans. I am good with that. I don't have an artifact in graveyard. I can't put an artifact in graveyard, so I am just losing the Phyrexian Dragon Engine. That's fine, like I got 3 cards out of it already. My opponent can vacuum a random card out of my graveyard. Now my opponent gets looting. Oh, there's more of them. Sure. So my opponent exiles Broadside, has 4 energy. So, do I need to just double block this and trade my Reflection of Kiki Jiki? I think that's fine. I think that this could just end up taking over the game versus my fair stuff. I think I just play another Fable, loot through these 2 cards, and end up further ahead than my opponent is. Like, I will still have one of my 2 creatures on board, and my opponent's at 10. Alright, so I am needled here. I don't have an artifact in graveyard. That's okay. I'm gonna do this. I think I am giving up treasure tokens to cast this and saving my life for later. And I will just put some artifact that I don't want to draw into my graveyard. That can just be a great furnace. Yep. Send it. Now my opponent gets a 2/2. Okay. We've got value. So, I'm going to float here, get lava spur boots. We will discard 2, draw 2. Those are pretty darn bad. All right. I mean, I'm casting it at this point. I want that one held back to trade with one of these if these attack. I'll suit up a Goblin Engineer. Wait, no, I actually want this extra point of power because it's relevant for Ancient Tomb stuff. So I will send in both of these. Yeah, so opponent makes that trade. Goes to 5. Then I will move those boots. And we are having a delightful not painter game here. And we get vacuumed. So my opponent gets to loot here. But they are facing down a lot of damage. They discarded 2 mana sources. Goblin Welder. So let's move Lava Spur Boots over to Reflection of Kiki Jiki for just a moment. Yeah, all right, there's the GGs. So I think we can win this one in 2 different ways from here. We can win this one in a fair combat step, or we can win this one in a situation where we copy a Goblin Engineer, put a relevant card into our graveyard, try to bring it back, opponent ghost vacues it, I bring it back again. That was a really neat match. Hell of a slog. I do not believe that I was only recording for a little over 20 minutes there. All right, final round here. We're on the draw. We have a solid but unexciting opening hand. Is it an Underground Sea? Oh shit, it's a basic Plains. All right, we're doing something different. My hand sucks. My hand got a lot better. Okay, so the big question here is, do I play Vexing Bauble on 1 to specifically play around just Solitude, or do I play Goblin Welder to do Goblin Welder things? I think I play Goblin Welder to do Goblin Welder things, but I don't think that is 100% clear-cut. Like, having the Goblin Welder active so that some portion of the time I can do something unfair with Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is interesting. White-black means that Bowmasters might be killing my Goblin Welder. Let's make ourselves worse against Bowmasters now that we know that Bowmasters might be coming. No attack into, like, Bowmasters or Samwise or whatever. And it's Mom. Sure. So I have 4 currently dead cards in hand. Wasteland's very good. We lost the matchup lottery with this hand. Ooh. Junk Pyroblast. Pyroblast. City of Traders is insane. I could also just attack with Goblin Shaman token. Get my artifact that way. That's fine. It is Felia. This is all fine. It becomes pro-red and can block my creature. I think I'm just setting myself up with better mana for the future, so I am fine doing this. So we throw down Vexing Bauble so that we have an artifact in play. And then we engineer for Chaos Defiler. And we weld Bauble into Chaos Defiler. Game 1! Game 1, Incubi! Fuck you. Respectfully. Respectfully. Jeez. I cannot describe the amount of absolutely fucked I am now. If you're not familiar with this interaction, Galia gets to attack and blink something, and then bring it back at the beginning of the next end step. And Containment Priest says, your shit doesn't come back. So my opponent can now blink out my creatures, and just, like, they don't come back. Now, notably, I do think my opponent took out the wrong one. I think you take out the Goblin Welder. Goblin Welder can bring back anything, whereas Goblin Engineer doesn't. So, I don't have game 1 in Snaring Bridge. Chaos Defiler is in exile. I lose 1 creature per turn cycle. Painter's Servant doesn't matter. I don't have Fury in game 1. I can't, like, target multiple things here. Okay. So, the way that I win is this. We gamble or something that Containment Priest can't stop from coming back. So we gamble for Grindstone and attempt to get a Painter. So I have the mana required to play both of these. And now we can try to end up in a situation where I, like, top deck a mana, like a Painter, and find another mana somehow. But this is real fucking bad. Oh, don't like that. Blocks don't make sense. So this means that my opponent is, like, gonna do some Flicker Wisp nonsense or something. I'm gonna... actually, I want to see what the rest of this turn looks like, but I think I could turn that into a Vexing Bauble if I wanted. Recruiter of the Guard. Getting another Bowmath. Yeah, okay. And I don't have the mana to just go Painter Grindstone one go. Okay, game 1 Containment Priest was not something that I was playing around. This doesn't feel great for me. I want this. I probably want this. I probably don't want these. I probably want this. I don't think I want Untimely Malfunction. If it's in a Braid, I want it. The Phyrexian Devourer combo is not ideal here. My opponent has a bunch of instant speed removal. I don't know that my other options are better. Junk LED? Junk Soul Guide Lantern, actually, probably. I don't think this is a keepable 2-card hand. This looks good. I keep this. I think getting rid of Pyroblast. I'm starting here. It is currently unclear whether or not I am playing a combo game or a beatdown game. It is very clear that I am shutting off Wasteland, though. I have 3 non-basics. So, where are you going with this vial? That's fine. Okay. I think I am trying to draw out removal and then maybe combo win eventually. I think if I just play out Painter Servant and telegraph that I have this combo, it does not go super well for me some portion of the time. Whereas if I make these construct tokens, eat some initial Swords to Plowshares or something, I think I have a better chance of messing with my opponent. And now I don't need to fish out Grindstone anymore. Oh, okay, just playing around Pithing Needle, that's fine. LED is a spicy pick. I think Lava Spur Boots is a safer pick. City seems fine. So I'll equip this creature. Okay, yeah, so this is why we want to bait out the initial removal. Now I play Grindstone, and then next turn I just have Painter activate for 5 mana, while still getting 4 damage in this turn in theory. Send it. 14. Belia. Very good against my Construct token, unfortunately. But luckily for us, we're not actually planning on winning the game with that. We are hopefully Bowmasters. Sure. Are you... I have hit multiple Stony Silences today. That's so brutal. Alright. Don't exactly love what I'm about to do. Everything is red. Fury, exiling a red card. That will wipe the board. Right. Stony Silence, I can't even use this. I don't think I'm playing the land. I think my opponent is favored with Stony Silence in play. I can just rip a red Elemental Blast, take out Stony Silence. Oh, no, I can't, because I did red to clear my opponent's board. I mean, their vial's off. Bowmaster can kill Painter in combat. I think I am doing fair beatdown stuff still, though. I don't think I can give my opponent time to draw out of this. 13. Fair beatdown. Does not feel good. Absolutely does not fucking feel good. Swords. Yep. Vial is going up more. Cursed Totem? Alright. Well, fuck me, I guess. I guess we hold Agatha's Soul Cauldron to loot away with a Fable. I haven't seen a Cursed Totem in play in years. It's a little Spirit Guide that could. 9. We hold Agatha's. I have seen some wild hate today. Cursed Totem, Stony Silence in 2 different matches. I guess Cursed Totem is for Nadu. This is rough. And this can get anything from my opponent's graveyard. So they return Felia. Not great for me. Opponent's at 7. I will play Painter. Now everything is blue. So Felia can end up blinking this and creating a 5/5 that I can't attack into. Okay. Oh, my opponent needs mana. Witch Enchanter, sure. That's surprisingly good here. Urza's Saga. Okay. Felia eats me alive. So I attack, I trade with this. My opponent plays Felia, which checks my Urza Saga construct tokens. Not great. I guess if it's checking that, then it's not blinking the Overlord, which I guess is fine. Hopefully we do something threatening. Alright, so my opponent just passes the turn. I know they have Felia. So this Pyroblast currently not doing anything. Felia will not... immediately kill Urza Saga Construct tokens, but will end up doing it. The extra bodies are so brutal right now. I don't have like Shadow Spear to trample over for lethal. My opponent can just hold back 1 or 2 of these, and depending on what they're doing. Okay, no attacks. They're just going to let this tick down. I will make a token. All right. I mean, yeah, neither one of these really do anything. I'm going to attack for 7 that gets chumped. And my opponent can attack and actually kill a construct token. We also have the Overlord of the Balemerc coming, which will, I think, just deterministically beat me, even from my opponent's current life total. Opponent is fetching. Did they like draw Solitude on top of everything else? No, it's another Overlord. Oh god, there's multiple cursed totems in this deck. Opponent has lost to Nadu 1 too many fucking times. Enough is enough. Yeah, and since my opponent actually cast this one for the full 5 mana, that is currently a creature. The second one is now a creature. Very close to just dying. Just outright. I can take Bowmaster off board, or I can keep 2 creatures back. I think that's more important. No, that's not more important. No, because I attack this... I don't know. There's like reusing these triggers too. I think I just need to draw Painter Servant and combo kill my opponent. Alright, so Felia... Oh god, this is also on attack, so my opponent just gets Solitude. Yeah. Okay. That was rough. Alright. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Gamble is interesting. Gamble definitely allows you to set up more Chaos Defiler, Phyrexian Devourer situations that are nice. But I encountered a lot of hate today. I think Painter is taking a lot of splash damage from the Mystic Forge deck. Like, Stony Silence in multiple rounds is not common. Like, Null Rod is, but Null Rod eats it to things like Abrade and Untimely Malfunction, so Stony Silence specifically being an enchantment is harder to answer. This deck feels fine. I don't know that I have any major critiques as far as deck building go. I don't know that I would be super, super excited to sleeve this up in the wake of Eternal Weekend, where everyone has seen these results and like is now gunning for Mystic Forge more than they are gunning for Reanimator. I think like repeatedly running into Consigned to Memories, Null Rod, Stony Silences, Cursed Totem as collateral damage that shuts off things like Goblin Engineer from tutoring this out feels very real. Sideboard felt okay, but I really wish that I had access to more creature-based removal in the sideboard. Like I don't have access to something like Lightning Bolt. I have a single Fury as my primary way to deal with creatures that doesn't require Painter's Servant to be in play. I think if I were going to play more of this, I would want another Fury or Abrades over Untimely Malfunction or something of that nature. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and if you need some cards, you know where to go, toamagic.com. Promo code ThrabenU will let them know that I sent you and that they should keep supporting my content. Anyway, have a great rest of the day. See ya!